Our administration will govern you only on your behalf, but never rule over you. We shall consult and dialogue, but never dictate. We shall reach out to all, but never put down a single person for holding views contrary to our own. We are here to further mend and heal this nation, not tear and injure each.
Modernized living condition of all of its inhabitants. A graceful leader imbued with courage and commitment to justice. Bola Tinubu combines practical, political acumen, strategic vision, and moral principle. When the history of the first 2 decades of the 21st century in Nigeria is written, it will record Bola Tinubu's rare courage and foresight in guiding his party, the All Progressive Congress, to victory in 2015, and how, working with other patriots, he abolished the determined efforts of the then ruling party to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. His Excellency.
On so many fronts, the second year of President Bola Tinubu has brought significant policy and legislative milestones that are helping to cement the very foundations of the President's grand vision for Nigeria. The Student Loan Fund and the Consumer Credit Corporation, 2 institutions targeted at putting more resources in the pockets of the Nigerian people, empowering them to turn their dreams into opportunities. With the Student Loan Fund, we are seeing for the first time in decades Nigerian students at tertiary level getting targeted federal assistance to pursue their academic ambitions through long-term loans and stipends that are designed not to be burdensome in any way. In less than 2 years, more than 300,000 Nigerian students have already benefited. With the Consumer Credit Scheme, we are seeing affordable financing being made available to workers to enable them afford life's necessities. Every developed nation is built around a functioning credit system that fuels consumer spending and translates into economic growth. Nigeria is now finally on that path. We also saw the first steps in the implementation of a new electricity framework in the nation, conferring the state government with greater agency and responsibility. Building on a recent constitutional amendment, the President signed into law the 2024 Electricity Act that is now guiding the pioneering set of states into rolling out their own regulated electricity market. Indeed, for Nigeria to be truly able to achieve economic development, we must allow the subnational government more room for real economic impact. With new electricity acts, states can now play a much bigger role in attracting investment into on-grid and off-grid solutions, ensuring that more electricity gets to more Nigerians. This concept of giving more power and opportunities to the state is one of the defining government philosophies of President Bola Tinubu as governor of Lagos State 2 decades ago. He was one of the leading advocates of true federalism in the nation. Now, as president, he has not abandoned those ideals. In July 2024, we saw the landmark ruling by the Supreme Court empowering local government to an extent we have not seen in our recent history. The president has since empaneled an interministerial committee that will ensure the full enforcement of that judgment. For the state government, President Tinubu's economic reforms have triggered a dramatic surge in revenues, which is allowing the state to do more for the people. The last FAC meeting saw the sharing of a record of 1.727 trillion naira amongst the 3 tiers of government. These resources are meant to deliver bigger dividends of development to Nigerians. For those who have taken the effort to be familiar with the ongoing tax reforms, the bills currently before the National Assembly also represent another fiscal boom for the subnational government, with the federal government choosing, for example, to take an even smaller portion of VAT than it currently gets. The presidential initiative on CNG marked its first year of implementation recently, with the number of vehicle conversion centers in the country rising from fewer than 10 to more than 150. The goal is to make CNG a fuel of choice for private and commercial transportation in the nation, bringing down costs by as much as 50 to 60%. We are already seeing enthusiastic uptake of the initiative, and the government is supporting this by way of fiscal incentives and subsidized conversions. Again, we are seeing the massive news of the final investment decision (FID) by Shell and its partners on the Bonga North Deep offshore oil project, which is Nigeria's first deep offshore FID in over a decade. This FID was preceded by the one by Total and NNPC Limited on the 300 million cubic feet per day with better gas projects. Together, these two projects represent over $5 billion in investment value. These long-awaited investment decisions have not finally happened because the investors behind them can see from the president's policy and actions that the nation is truly serious and ready for oil and gas investments. A series of presidential directives issued at the beginning of 2024 have unleashed the biggest wave of investor interest in our nation's energy sector. In a way, Nigerian security forces neutralized more than 15,000 terrorists and bandits and arrested thousands others, with more than 10,000 weapons recovered. Additionally, about 8,000 kidnapped victims were successfully rescued. The goal is to keep driving down the numbers of victims while scaling up efforts to make crime and criminality unattractive in Nigeria.
Well, these are my
Ça, ce sont mes soldats.
soldiers. Well
Bien,
educated,
bien éduqués. Vous êtes proche d'eux?
very close.
Très proche.
This is my beloved.
Ça, c'est mon soldat. Je ne suis pas comme ça.
I'm a genuine fighter.
Je suis un combattant du delta du Niger.
Struggle.
Je lutte.
Amnesty was the dead point.
L'amnistie est une impasse.
They said that if you
Si vous refusiez de rendre les armes le 4 octobre dernier, ils menaçaient de bombarder votre village. Vous voulez que votre famille vive. Vous voulez voir votre sœur, votre frère, votre père en vie.
On the foreign affairs, despite several challenging geopolitical developments around the world, including in our corner of West Africa, Nigeria was awarded the hosting rights for the new Africa Energy Bank, which will prove to be game-changing for energy financing in the continent. As we reposition ourselves to be a global energy hub, this is the most fitting complement. Nigeria is asserting itself as a nation that cannot be ignored on the global stage. Some months ago, President Bola Tinubu hosted heads of state and governments from India, the world's largest democracy, and from Germany, Europe's largest economy. Also, he was welcome on a state visit to France at a very exciting time in the history of mutually beneficial relations between Nigeria and France. Nigeria was specially invited to the G20 summit for the second consecutive year running, and we forged deeper relations with South Africa through our joint presidential binational commission. As of today, 2 old refineries are now working in the nation, with another private refineries forcing efficient and effective rivalry, as one can be seen in a day-to-day drop of petrol prices, in continued drop of petroleum prices. Commenting, a chartered accountant, economist, and 2027 governorship hopeful in Oyo State, currently working with Virginia Human Rights Commission, the United States of America, Olaoluwa Peter Abidemi gives his insight into the success of President Bola Tinubu's government.
Looking at the administration of President Tinubu, assessing it will not be on the surface of what we are seeing now, but one, we have to look at it globally in terms of achievement and in terms of putting the record straight and in terms of righting the wrongs of the past administrations. Yeah. Now, the past administrations, they have been window dressing. Yeah, there is something we call in accountancy as window dressing. They were presenting to us as something that is real, whereby on the face value of it, it is a lie. Yeah, looking at the reforms going on within the 2 years President Tinubu took over the mantle of leadership of this country, you will see significant achievements, and you will see that the hands are turning in the right direction. Yeah. The first thing, looking at the removal of subsidy, I work in the downstream sector of oil and gas for like 15 years. When the removal was announced, I said, no, it is not going to be possible. But as we have it today, subsidy is a past tense in the history of Nigeria.
As we mark the second anniversary of the Tinubu administration and going forward, we surely see even more of the positive outcomes of the president's reforms in infrastructure, agriculture, security, healthcare, education, creative, and digital economy, and many other areas.
Yeah, so President Tinubu has done well, and I know he will not relent until he achieves the stated goals. So assessing him, I was calling A1 in what he has done so far in the 2 years in office. And look at it, is in the area of local government autonomy, or the removal of subsidy, the increase in foreign reserve, our GDP that has gone up, and then the rate of inflation that has come down. We need to be fair to his administration, and what is fair is fair. Yeah, Nigerians have benefited, and we are still benefiting from his administration.
The tax reforms, when passed into law and assented to, will cut personal and corporate income taxes for tens of millions of Nigerians, while also expanding VAT exemptions. Consumer credit and student loans will reach many more people. Important indices such as foreign reserve positions, trade surplus, oil production, and GDP growth are set to continue rising, even as greater work going into permanently taming inflation. Olaoluwa seek the understanding of Nigerians on this journey of economic renewal and institutional development.
Looking at local government reforms, you see, local government is the government that is very close to the grassroots people, and not having independence is a setback, a major setback. And he came and reformed that bill, and today local government directly receive their monthly allocation from the federal government. That's another achievement. Now, looking at the student loan, you see, this student loan, this is one of the things that in the Western world, people are enjoying, and people that don't think they can go to school or go to university, they are now in university. Yeah, and in the Western world, if your parents are unable to finance your college or university education, you apply to government, and government will sponsor or give you loan for that duration of their program. And when you graduate and you secure the employment, you will start paying back the money gradually, conveniently. You get it? Yeah. So that coming to Nigeria, I would say, is an added value to our country, and is a great achievement of this administration. And looking at the power sector, we know that things are going on there, and which I know it will give a positive result very soon. And then looking at the banking sector, especially the foreign exchange rates, you will see that it has been stabilized. Yeah, and you see, as times goes on, you will see the rate coming down gradually. Once we improve on our exports, we see that the exchange rate will start coming down. Then, yes, Nigerians have benefited immensely from this 2 years administration of President Tinubu. You know, the Asiwaju came with good policies.
Olaoluwa Peter Abidemi also addressed the people of Oyo State, especially as the 2027 election approaches.
If I'm being given the opportunity to be the governor of Oyo State by the grace of God comes 2027, well, one thing I know for sure is Oyo State people will know my administration for better. They will experience a new life. The slogan of my administration will be a selfless service to humanity. And I mean it. Yeah. Well, it's not time for campaign, you see, but I have the blueprint of my manifesto already. And the think tank has submitted it to them, and they have reviewed the manifesto, and they are in order, you see. Well, the areas that we are going to touch will be area of education, youth, cheap food for all in the state, by the grace of God. How we are going to go about it is not something I can disclose now, but I know when the time comes, people will rejoice, and people will want more of us to be in government. Yeah, looking at the alignment and realignment, whether it will affect the re-election of President Tinubu come 2027. Well, one thing I can say is, by the grace of God, President Tinubu will be re-elected as the president of Nigeria come 2027. No matter the alignment of any party. Yeah, he has done well, he's still doing well, he will still do well. And that's one thing that I know. And that's what we speak for him. It's the achievement that will speak for him. Do you get it? Yeah, it's the achievement that will speak for him. And that will make people to vote for him, irrespective of the party they belong to. Yeah. So I wish everyone a good dividend of democracy for the remaining 2 years ahead for this administration to end. And I pray that when the goodies of Nigeria start manifesting, we will not be found wanting.
He believes that the sacrifices will surely be rewarded, and all shall surely and steadily advance toward desired destination, a country where a progressively better life will be guaranteed for everyone, regardless of where in the nation they happen to reside.
Destiny, I have waited patiently. I have vision, oh I believe.